Hello, hi, good evening. This is Christine Crow here, and today I'm going to be talking about how it is important to build a community for the future of your business. And why do I say that? Because building a community is very close to my heart. And the journey really started with me building my community, for example, for the times when I needed a community, for example. And I'm going to explain a story to you which is very personal and dear to my heart. You see, my husband of 28 years, he passed away 2017, and that was the day when I realized that a community is so much needed. And I knew that in my own healthcare businesses I was building a community, but when I needed a community was there for me. And that was the Macmillan team and the Maria Curry team, the ones in the UK, for example. And they were truly amazing. They were there. You felt as if they were family members coming into your home at such a difficult time. And although it was 2017, it was actually on this day, the 4th of February, when I lost my husband of 28 years. And I lost him at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then I lost my mother the same day at 10 p.m. It was an unforgettable time for me. But I had a community that was there to help me to survive, to help me to turn to, because obviously I've got children, and I believe that we need to get back to the basics of building a community in your business, a care business community, because you may not think so, but if you build a community, it will also help you with your healing and with running your business as well. Because there's nothing better than having a community that you can turn to and that you can support as well. And they need you. The community needs you because they could be going through some difficult times in their own personal lives, or maybe they've gone through loss. And you build a community, it will be like a lifeline for them. It could be that way. And I believe it will also help you with your business, because like I said, it's not about the money, it's about building a community where you know what the needs are, what they require from you, and how you can support them in your care business, for example, or whatever business you have. Imagine that you are able to build a community, and I feel so passionate about this because I've been there myself, and I needed a community, and they were there for me at one of the most difficultest time in my family's life. They were there for me. And I will say it again, it was the Macmillan and also the Marie Curry was also there as well. And St. Barnabas Hospice was there. 3 organizations, but they made you feel like you was part of the community, and they supported you through the most difficultest time. because sometimes when you are looking after service users, they're going through a difficult time. They're going through, terminal illness, or they could be going through a temporary illness, but you can be there for them during those difficult times. And it will also help their loved ones to be able to cope as best as they can with your support, because sometimes you don't want to, you need to have that time, and you also need to have an organization that can work with you and your family members and your loved ones and support you. And this is the reason why I say that building a care community is so important. By you building a care community, it's essential for, I believe it's essential for long-term success, resilience and sustainable growth in your business, for example. Now, whether you're running a home care agency or you're running a recruitment care agency, nursing agency, or supported living business, for example, there's multiple different ways that you can build a strong community. And you'll be able to provide support and resources needed. And this will help you to also thrive. Now, I've told you about my story, and I believe that building a community it's from you, for example, and I'll say from me to we. You become one with your community. And I think that that's so important, because if you're not getting out there on the streets, meeting your community, then you're doing something wrong. Your community needs you. Your community needs your support, especially during this difficult time right now. Anytime they need it in their own lives. So I'm going to mention one of the TEDx talks, and I think it'd be good for you to check it out after this talk, or whenever you decide to. And the talk was done by Kathy Coffey, for example, Coffey. And she says, she calls this come unity, for example. And she said how it completed her soul. And I feel the same way. And I'm sure that you would as well, by running your own care business community. Like when I went out in 2001 and I hand delivered all of those Christmas meals for free on my own time to about 20, I think it was about 20 service users. I lost track. 20 service users at a Christmas meal that day. I delivered it. I didn't charge for it. I did it out of the goodness of my heart. And you know what? Although by the time I got back home, the Christmas dinner was burnt, for example, I still felt good inside, because I knew I did something for the community. I helped the community, because there were family members that couldn't be there on that day because they were perhaps abroad or America, for example. And that was really what made my business thrive, because as soon as after the holidays, the amount of phone calls that came through saying thank you, thank you, thank you. You made my mum or my dad's day or my friend's day, for example, by just doing that kind gesture. And they were saying, what can I give? I said, nothing. I don't want anything for this, because I did it out of the goodness of my heart. I saw the clients as my own family members. And that's why the power of building a community can be transformative. You would not believe. And this is why I want to talk to you. This is 2025. Just because we've got computers, just because we've got our VoIP phones, for example, just because we've got AI, doesn't mean to say we shouldn't go out on the streets and meet the community and talk to them, build relationships, and look at this community building, looking at this as playing a critical role in your company's growth, your personal growth as well, and you're fostering connections amongst the community. It will really give you the insights of the community, and it will significantly impact individual lives and offering support like it did for me when I needed it. And that's why there's something that is so special about building a community. The world is difficult as it is and challenging as it is. But if you build a community, then the world seems a better place because you've helped create a community. And the sense of belonging is missing in today's world. It really is. It's a fast-paced world that we're in. But when we come together, it creates an environment where you will flourish, but also you'll look at the nurturing that's being done. And then you'll have an experience, and they will have an experience that not only enhances the individual's well-being, but also strengthens the bond that tie us together so that we become one another, not separate. We're human beings. So in the society, when you're isolated, it can be very, very, very lonely. And the importance of connection, for example, and belonging, it cannot be overestimated. Communities provide a safe space for individuals to share their experience, and you'll be a part of that. They can learn from one another, they can grow together, they can be, experience that it's not just them going through a difficult stage in their life. So creating that sense of belonging is key. It will empower the communities, and it will also embrace the true selves, and it will help you to pursue your passion. Maybe you may not think that this is your passion, building a community, but I'm here to just talk to you about thinking about building a community. I would recommend that you do that in today's world so that you're different, so you're not like everyone else, that you are different. So you got to think about the leadership, okay? And this includes how effective your leadership can cultivate a thriving community. If you're a manager, if you're a leader, operations manager, for example, you can really take lead on that to help the community to thrive. So the role of shared values in building connections and the impact of you collaborating with healthcare professionals like GPs, social workers, for example, recovery teams, NHS, the list is endless really. You're collaborating, but you're also saying, look, I've got this workshop once a month. I would love for you to be there. There'll be tea and coffee. It's only for, just come for 10 minutes. Just show your head. This is your community. And you'll be surprised how many people show up. So think about the role that you're going to have when you're looking at setting this up, because you've got to do this in a strategic way that's going to benefit the community, but also make an impact in the community for the good. So the concept of community, it is deeply rooted, and like I said, like I mentioned before, Kathy Coffey said, the idea of common unity reflecting a shared bond amongst individuals who come together for a common purpose or interest. At its core, community embodies personal meaning as it represents a network of relationship that provides support, understanding, and a sense of identity. And I'm going to put the link here to the TED Talk as well. So culturally, communities play a significant role in shaping the values, traditions, and social norms, influencing the individual's perceived of themselves and their place in this world. So communities manifest in various ways, and it also is helping your mind, body, citizenship, and the people, for example, the citizens and the people. So the mind, I'm going to break this down. The mind, community fosters intellectual growth through shared ideas and collaborative thinking. By speaking to your community to see what they would like to have done or see more of, or what is lacking, is your connecting. The spirit, it nurtures emotional connections, allowing individuals to build and find solace and inspiration in a collective experience. So the community, you know, there's a collective experience of people going through a difficult time in their life, for example, and you being there as part of that and helping them to smile again, helping them to think about how and who else is going through the same thing, and realize that it's not just them going through that. That helps as well. So the next one is citizenship. Community encourages active participation in empowering individuals to contribute to the greater good. That is by you talking to them. You can't expect to be just sat at your office and think that you know your community when you haven't even gone out and met them. So the fourth element is people. On a personal level, communities connect individuals, creating bonds that transcend the differences and fosters empathy as well. It helps to take their mind off of things, even though it's still inside of them, but it helps them. So the role of the community in fostering a sense of belonging is paramount, and it provides a safe haven when individuals can express themselves authentically and also feel valued at the same time. So through these connections, you will find the strength, and they will find the strength, resilience, and deeper understanding of ourselves and others, ultimately enriching our lives, and enhancing a collective experience. You see, this is the type of thing that makes me feel good inside, to do this, to go out into the community and to talk to vulnerable people, elderly, adults, for example, social workers, integrated care boards. You can get the organizations there that you'll work together as a collaborative organization hub. So think about how you get moments of clarity when it emerges, when an individual shares a story and it's a collective experience, reinforcing the power of solidarity and shared understanding. So these interactions will reveal that community is not just about proximity, but about shared values and emotional support and encouragement. Now imagine you're the one that's building this. You're the one that's getting to be known in the community for this. It's time to get out into the street and meet people. By building these relationships through shared experiences, individuals will learn that vulnerability can lead to their strength, and opening up others can transform grief into a journey of healing, like it did with me. Community is essential for navigating challenges, providing a network of support that fosters resilience and a renewed sense of belonging. So, can you understand where I'm coming from now? I'm just explaining some of the steps before I go into this. So, how do you approach organizations to build a community? So first of all, you've got to identify the right type of organization. Is it hospitals, hospices, clinics, charities, religious groups, churches, for example, senior centers, community centers? So you get, with the community center and the senior centers, for example, you get direct access to families who may need care services. I'm showing you ways to get private clients or even social funded clients, for example. The hospitals, you can get business from there as well by inviting someone from the hospital, for example. Let them know that you're holding this event once a month and it's for the community. Charities, non-profits, organizations that support elderly, disabled or family caregivers, for example. Then there's religious groups and churches. Many have senior ministries or outreach programs. Maybe you can look at that, for example. So step two is that you find the decision makers. Do your research, find the right contacts within these organizations, such as the community outreach coordinator, the managers, the program managers, the CEOs, for example, the directors, for example. Who are the decision makers for the community center, for example? Then the next thing that you need to do, number 3, is you need to craft a persuasive pitch. So the message, it should focus on value and how you can help their members, clients, or staff, for example. And I'm going to give you an example of a pitch, for example. The example pitch is, "Hi," and then the name of the person. "I really do admire the work that you do." And then you can say, "Does this," for example, and mention what their mission is. "I'd love to explore ways we can collaborate to help your members, community receive better care and support." You're not saying that you want to sell products, but you're going there to meet your community, to talk to them, to see how better you can support them. "Would you be open to a quick call or a meeting to discuss how we can work together?" Now, I'm giving you that quick script there. You don't want to be too long. You want it to be quick. They'll say yes or no, but you don't just stop at 1 or even 7. You keep going until you get someone to say yes. Please do come, of course. And I'm sure they will, because they know it's going to benefit the community. The next thing that you need to think about is leadership in community building. So you've got to have effective leadership in the community setting to foster collaboration, inclusivity, and engagement. So you've got to make sure that you do active listening, understand the community's needs, and building trust, for example. Then collaboration. You want to bring diverse voices together to achieve the common goal. So maybe there's a GP or maybe there's a social worker. They can come along, get them to come along and even do a small talk, for example. Introduce who they are. Maybe they're a new counselor, or maybe they are a new worker for an organization. So they'll come along because you're holding this event. And then the next thing that you need to do is recognizing and valuing unique leadership styles to create a thriving, inclusive environment. So authenticity. So by building and participating in the community, this requires active engagement and recognition of one's role within the existing network. So by stepping into leadership roles, individuals not only will enhance their own development. So if you was doing like education, training them carers, what care looks like, what types of care that there is currently at the moment, for example, and what you do in the community and what role you play in your organization, and that you want to offer some free training, for example. So building and participating a community, it requires active engagement, recognition, and one's role within an existing network. By stepping into that leadership role, it not only helps you to enhance your own development and their development, but also encourages others to do the same by cultivating a culture of support and shared purpose. So community and connection play a vital role in personal growth and overall well-being. So by engaging with others, it fosters a belonging, support, and it also is a collaboration. So this is about enriching lives and encouraging us to become the best version of ourselves. And I believe that that is through building a care community. So some action steps that you can do: volunteer, join local groups, or connect with organizations, or book a room in a village hall or in the centre itself. Reach out to neighbours and indicate, the conversations. Embrace leadership roles and inspire others. So create a safe space for dialogue and inclusion. If you found this helpful today and valuable, what I'd love for you to do is to subscribe or like the channel. For example, this is also going to help if you know any friends or family that would benefit. For example, you can also spread the message of the importance of building your own community and connection, because together you can create a ripple effect of positive change. So let's continue this journey and growth and connection together, because if we don't do this, I'd love to actually hear what your comments are. Have you built a community? Have you built a care business community that is strong and that is doing well? Maybe you're there doing that now, for example. Is this something that you've thought about doing but not sure of how to go about it? Well, the first thing I will say to all of you is to pick the phone up. If you don't get through on the phone, then you go and visit. Get out there. Actually, just get out there and visit and meet people face to face. We're too busy hiding behind a computer or telephone, for example. Communicate. Go and see people and tell them what you're doing. Spread the word. Even create a flyer to say that you want to build a community and you want people to join that community because it's for the good. For example, it's going to make the service users or those that are in the community happy that someone cares and someone is listening to what they have to say and they're not being dismissed. And they get to come out instead of being isolated at home. Because it can be lonely when you're going through a bereavement, when you're going through an illness, when you're looking after a loved one. It can be very lonely. So maybe you want to build a community for the carers and then also have one for the clients as well, but not on the same day. If the carer wants to have a break, then they can come to you and just have a coffee. You can just do a coffee morning, for example. So I just dropped my coaster there and just have a cup of tea. Cup of tea, some water. Things like that really does make a difference. Now, the community is also based on your marketing efforts. And if you don't get out there and meet people, then they're not going to know that you exist. So the next thing that you need to have is a presentation pack, a marketing pack, so that when you are out there in the field meeting the community, then you've got information. So marketing pack, your PowerPoint presentation needs to be done if you're doing online, for example. There's various ways that you can really build your community. You're going to do it face to face. Then you're going to get them to join you online, for example, a Zoom, for example, and do some training, for example. Then you may perhaps do a group session. There's lots of different ways that you can grow your community. You can create a Facebook group for that community once you've gone into the community and you've met them. You don't just set up the Facebook group and people are joining, but they're not actually from your community, for example. And you'll end up with people that want to spam your group. And you don't want that. They don't want to be spammed. They just want to be looked after. Now, when you go into doing this, when you go to meet your community, don't have money on your mind when you go in there. You're going there to build relationships. Like I said, Robert Kiyosaki says, serve and then the money will follow. So if you serve your community and serve them well, find out what their needs are, and also see about meeting that need. See what's missing, and then you can offer that service as well. But you go away, you put something together about what services you're going to offer for your community and what research you've done. And when you're even applying for contracts, you can say that you've built a community and this was the numbers of the attendees or in this community, for example, and what it is that you offer in that community. Is it education? Is it, could be like coaching. It could be where you're helping them with, paperwork, where you volunteer. Just volunteer. And you'd be surprised what you get back. You will feel enlightened. You will feel so powerful inside. It will make you feel good. It really will. I'll give you a story. My father started the food pantry in America when it first started many years ago. And even to this day, he's passed away, but even to this day, the food pantry in America is still going, and it's going strong. It is literally national. And guess what? It was all for free. And this is now national. Something that I'm so proud of that my father did. He left a legacy. When he passed away, his funeral was for 2 days. We couldn't fit enough people in the church, so they had to come over 2 days. 2 funerals, for example. He had so many people stand and give a beautiful testimonial about what he did for their lives. And he helped families that were struggling financially. Some of them worked, but they just couldn't make ends meet, for example. Some didn't work, some were elderly. So there was a large group of people. He built a community in Bronx, New York. That's where it started. That was his community. And I always remember at his funeral that this lady came over to me, this lady with blue eyes. She came over to me, she said, and she gave me a hug and she said, your father, she said, I'm known as the First Lady. And she made me smile because she was about 80 at the time. And there was so many people there at his funeral. Even before his funeral, when me and my sisters and brothers, we walked over to the church because I said I want to go through some of the things that Dad did. I want to understand what he did, this food pantry thing. I didn't realize how big it was. And so because I came from the UK, and he used to tell me he was going out delivering food, to the homeless or to people that were in the community, for example. So when we went to the church to see, his legacy, there was like 4 blocks of people, 4 blocks full of people. So as me and my sisters and brothers, as we was walking towards the church, I was like, wow, someone's having a big celebration like this. And you know what? When we got towards the church, the queue was actually towards the church. And then they saw us from a block and they started clapping. And I didn't realize it was for us. So I kind of looked around and then we realized it was for us. And then we saw our father's picture, a real big picture outside the church. And it just made me break down and cry. Because my father built a community, and he did it with love, and he did it with for free. And my father had cancer for 17 years. He was going through chemotherapy, radiation, and you know what? He built that community, and he still showed up. Even when he had treatment, he still would get out of bed and go and serve his community, because that gave him strength. It gave him strength, and he was able to do that. That's such a powerful thing to be able to do, to have cancer and be going through treatment, but yet you're looking after others when you're going through a difficult time yourself. And this is what building a community is about, that you're helping one another, because it made my father feel good going there, helping to put the food in bags and driving and going round or walking round, for example. He was exhausted at the end of the day, but he felt good. And that's my point to you, is that it will make you feel good by building a community, because then instead of them going onto a website and trying to look for a care organization, they will come to you because they know that you have taken that time to build a community, and also at the same time they've met you. So they're going to choose you over someone on a website or someone on a telephone, for example. By building that community, you can keep them informed, you can create newsletters, you can, it will be something that's going to help in a massive way. And I'd love to hear your stories of whether you have created a community already. Maybe you've done that already here, I'm not sure. If you have, I would love to hear from you and how it's working for you. But you need to have the right marketing material as well for that. And don't worry, we will go through that tomorrow. The marketing material, the things that you're going to need when you go to a community centre and the manager said, yes, come in. Then what do you say? You say the small pitch that I gave you, for example, but then what's going to happen after you've got in the door? What do you do then? What do you say? How do you get them how do you persuade the centre managers, for example, for you to be able to talk to the community, the centre, those that come to the centre, the family, the service user, for example, friends. So tomorrow's training will be covering that, because I'm here to try and give you some action for you to take action and to do things, because I see too many people just thinking just by being on social media that that's going to be everything for you, and it's not. There's so many other ways that you can also get clients as well. And that's by building a community. You know what I used to do? I used to actually rent a coach. When I had my small care home, I used to collaborate with a sheltered housing centre and say, look, I speak with the manager and I say, look, you know, can we rent a coach, hire a coach, and, you know, let's work together and take the clients out for the day. So we take them on day trips. So you could even arrange to have a coach trip, say once every, 6 months, for example, coach trip, where you don't have to take them for hours and hours somewhere, because that's quite a big thing, but somewhere that's like an hour drive, for example, where they can have a cup of tea, a scone, a cupcake, for example, coffee, lunch, and they've gone out for the day, and then they come back home. Yeah, of course you're going to charge a fee for that, because you're going to have to pay the coach driver, you've got to pay any care staff that's needed, for example. So there will be a charge for that. But I used to do that with a centre, for example, and it worked really well. So that is the next thing. I'm going to talk to you about some strategies and things like that for building a community. So I hope that you've enjoyed today, and do like and subscribe. Share this with anyone that you feel that would benefit, because even if you're not in care business and you've got a business, why are you not out meeting your community and letting them know that you're a local business and what you do? Because they're going to need you. Speak with law firms. I'm going to go through the different types of organizations you can approach and work with, collaborate with. So that's it for tonight, and I hope that you've enjoyed this discussion today, and educational way of marketing for your business. Because although AI is the future, community is also the future, because I think we've forgotten about that. I think we've forgotten about how they need to see you in the community. Just having a cup of tea, just a simple cup of tea or coffee with some biscuits. And then if you really want to be posh, when it's Christmas, you can do sandwiches, things like that at the centre. And just charge a small fee, for example, or you write it off against your company for marketing, for example. Imagine I don't know how much you're spending on Facebook marketing, for example, but try this. It's a new way of marketing. Let me tell you, hire a bus and you could have say 50 people on the bus, or 25 on the bus. You might not want to start off so big. 25, you can collaborate with another organization, like a day center, like a sheltered housing, for example, and then they will collaborate with you. It's amazing. It's about community, working with your community, not visiting them. They need to see you. In order for them to use you, they will come to you first, because they know who you are and that you care for them and that you want to be there for them as well. So I hope that was helpful to you, everyone, and drop in the comments whether you're doing a community already, because I would love to hear how it's worked. But check out the TED Talk as well. But also, if you want to book a free 15-minute appointment with me, I would gladly help you to really grow your community. And we do cover this in our AI bootcamp, which starts this month. The end of this month, we've got the AI bootcamp going on, and we hold them every month but this is the first of its kind. It's an AI healthcare business bootcamp, for example, and we're going to talk about automation tools that you can put into your business so that you are not so busy being busy when you don't need to be, when you've got AI that can do that for you. So like I've been doing the trainings here on AI, this is also part of the AI bootcamp, which is the community future, your business, for example. And we're also covering funding as well as contracts as well that you can get for your business. So there's a lot going on in our new AI business bootcamp, and this is something which is really going to be amazing. It's for 5 days. We will record it, and then it can be a recorded version. If you just want the recorded version, you can have it. You don't have to attend the online version, but you know, it's always good to, in case you've got any questions as well. So do join me again tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. New York time, 2 p.m. Atlanta time, for example, so that you've got a gauge of what time that starts if you're in America, for example. And do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your likes. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and let's build a community. It will help you, and it will help your community as well that you've built, because I love to hear how you're getting on with your community, because I know that it does work, and it also makes you feel good as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. And build a community. You just never know how big it will get. I spoke about my father, Marcus, how he built the food pantry with his co-founder, for example, and that was in Bronx, New York, and it's now national, and it's in the schools. It's doing so well, and that is about building a community that is lasting, and that they will always remember who you are. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you taking the time out today, and I hope it was helpful and beneficial for you. And I would love to hear your stories about your community, and whether you want to have a community that leaves a legacy like how my father did. Something started from the church, just grew and grew and grew, and it's now national. So why don't you do the same? Because you never know. You never know where it will take you. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. Join me at 7 p.m. because I will be going through the types of marketing tools that you need to take with you. For example, your information pack, your presentation pack, for example, your brochure, what type of things you need, and also what do you say once they let you in the door for you to talk about your community building project, for example, outreach. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.